Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be with you all today, and I'm excited for two things. The first one, but it's not in order because for me they are both equally equal. So I'm excited because we are live in all platforms today. So I'm super excited to have you all inside this awesome conversation that I will have with someone that I highly estimate. And for the one who are actually in Asia, the name is probably well known and knows by everyone. So before saying you why this person is such a special place in my heart, this man who is Seow Kong Ng that you probably know, that everyone in Asia know. He has more than 40 years of running experience. He is massive. He complete more than 117 marathon and ultra marathon in more than countless of country. He went to the North Pole. He did some crazy. He finished some crazy race, and now he's preparing this crazy, another crazy thing of the tour of Peninsula. So that means it's 2,000 K in 1 month, which I'm pretty jealous. Because I won't be able to make it, but I'm with them with all my heart. And now Seow Kong is working on a fabulous book that I can't wait to read it. And why I'm so privileged to have it with me, because he is a precious friend of mine. And to be honest, I wouldn't be at the level of the running that I'm now without him, without the help that he gave me in all these races. Because one thing that I forgot to mention, because for me it's so obvious, is the CEO and the founder of Endurance Nature, which is, in my opinion, the best race organizer in Asia. And the people who are not in Asia, when this COVID thing will finish, I invite you, all of you, to go and take the flight and go to Malaysia to be and have part of their experience, because it's not just about running. It's about being part of an experience when it's the art. Seow Kong, his wife Alan, have in art so much of level up every runner in this race, like you cannot even imagine that and it's not about who win or not, or who doesn't win. He loves everyone the same way. He and his wife is for me like unconditional love. So for me, when I have the pleasure to go with them, I feel like if I come back on a certain of my family. So, and the last thing is, I'm really privileged because Seow Kong wrote the four words of my own books, which I'm really honored that he did it. So I stop talking and let's talk with this wonderful person. So Seow Kong, thanks to accepting to come with us, and I'm so happy and excited to have you. So I will introduce you to everyone. So thank you, Seow Kong. I'm so happy that you are there.
Hi, good evening, Vero. Thank you for inviting me to speak or to share whatever that people would like to know. I hope I'm the person that you were talking about just now.
Why? Why do you say that?
That's joking.
I estimate you, Seow Kong. So everything I said, I truly mean it. So thank you to being here.
Yeah, it's
good. So
yeah.
Let's jump into it, because I know you, but maybe some people who doesn't know you, which I doubt. But anyway, let's jump into it. Can you, because with all your CV of running, you're impressive. Can you? Are you able to tell me what is your biggest achievement, or you can, because you have too much?
Um, I'll probably put it this way. There's no, if you're talking about one single achievement, there is one. But I think the biggest achievement is not a single one. Yeah. It's a collective, one. Yeah. Collective one is, if you just look at a single race, maybe okay, a lot of people have done that. Yeah. But if you just look at my journey of having done Great Wall, Everest, North Pole, Antarctica, Sahara, MDS, and all that thing, I think it's the single achievement is the spirit of trailblazing. I didn't even know that I was doing that. I was the first one to do this. I was the first one to do that. I'm a runner of average ability. Not particularly fast, but sufficient, good enough to first finish certain tough races, good enough to challenge those tough races, and without getting guidance from anybody else before. So probably there's an advantage of being old enough. So I'm kind of like part of the early generation of the ultra running, without really knowing it. I just think, okay, I should do this one because I'm curious enough, and I was able to overcome, whether it's financial, whether it's time, whether it's certain commitment. I was able to overcome those barriers, and go ahead and do those races, go to those places. I think that's not easy to do. I think a lot of people would have hesitation, who have obstacles, other family commitment, work commitment that stop them from doing what they like. And I'm glad. I think that I'm glad that I have that ability to do that. That's a single biggest. That's a collective kind of a achievement. If you are talking about a single achievement, I would say that my ability to run barefoot.
It's true. And Seow Kong, can we just wait 2 seconds, because I'm looking in Instagram and I think we have a problem of connecting on Instagram. So I will just my husband is trying to help. So I apologize for everyone.
You have muted. Can't hear you. Huh?
Okay. Maybe if it's not. Okay. So I apologize, everyone. Like you probably see, we try a new technology today, and when we try new technology, sometimes that doesn't work as we want as the first time. So I apologize. So let's carry on. So Seow Kong, what you said, and I think you're totally right, is your ability to run barefoot that makes you apart. And the question that I want, and maybe you wanted to share, I remember when you told me the anecdote of your first ultra race in Peru. I was totally blown away by this anecdote. Can you share it with us?
It's a race in where? Sorry.
Peru? Is it Peru? Peru, like the Machu Picchu?
Peru. Okay, the Machu Picchu.
Yes, because it was. Is it the first ultra race that you ever done? That tell me more about this story. You remember the one that I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. That certainly is not my first ultra race. My first ultra race is the Comrade Marathon
Oh,
in
is it?
South Africa
Yeah.
in 2008.
So
And whereas the Inca Trail, I think you're talking about that one,
yeah,
Inca Trail Marathon in Peru, right?
yeah, yes,
Okay, where the finish is at this iconic heritage,
yes,
Machu
yes,
Picchu.
yes.
That is a tough one. I would say that is the most difficult marathon race that I have ever done
Why?
because of the elevation gain.
Yeah.
Yeah, elevation gain, you have to go up as high as 4,000 kilometers
Wow.
before you come down, all the way to Machu Picchu. And most of them are not so technical, but it's the climb. It's a long climb to 4,000 meters. That was a tough one. Yeah. And you know, as you know, at that kind of altitude, yeah,
And
it's even more difficult than the Everest marathon that I did in 2006. Because that one, you run from the base camp at 5,003, yeah, and you run down to Namche Bazaar, at 3,005. So that one is running down mostly, yeah. But Inca Trail, of course, the trail itself is world famous. Yeah, it's one of my dream destination. I've been kind of like thinking of doing that one since 2006. Yeah, so it's almost like 6 or 7 years later before I got to do it myself. And of course, being a South American country is also another continent that I look forward to visit very often. And of course, the Machu Picchu, it's also this Machu Picchu thing came out in my one of the exam paper in my Master of Business Administration. So there was a MBA study. There was a exam question on Machu Picchu. Yeah. So I got very fascinated with that place.
wow, it's and if you look back in your amazing experience, what is your favorite race that you done?
Uh, Probably when I say favorite, it's like the race that I think I ran the best, best race of my
Yeah.
life. That would be Sakura Michi. Yeah?
Yes.
That I did in 2013. Yeah, 250 kilometer. That I have to do it within 36 hours. Somehow something just clicked. Yeah, on race day, that somehow I was able to keep running, meet all the cutoff. And also when it was snowing from about midnight 11 p.m. onwards to the next morning, about 9 a.m., it was snowing whole night. Yeah, when I was
Wow.
running,
In
it
in,
was
in
snowing.
which year you did it, Seow Kong?
2013,
Wow.
2013. Yeah.
And why make because you know that I did it twice, and
Twice.
for me
Yeah. Well
it's
done.
also
Yeah.
and when I look back, I don't know how I managed to do it. But what makes you this race special in your art?
Normally for a distance of 250 kilometer, I can't imagine myself running most of the time. uh, and yet somehow I was able to do it in this race. I can remember in the middle of the night when it was snowing, when it was so cold, and at that time, I was wearing my 5 fingers. I ran this race in 5 fingers.
Wow.
And so it was snowing, and then the ground, the road was wet. And I just remember me keep pushing and running, through the tunnels. You remember the tunnels? Huh? Yeah. At the top of the mountain, coming down, many tunnels. Yeah. And I was just able to do it, and then without getting sleepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was full of energy and just keep going. And without knowing whether I can really finish the race within 36 hours or not. It's normally it's difficult to do. Yeah. Is that the cutoff is very tight, as you know. Yeah. So I think I performed very well. Yeah.
And
I'm very happy.
when you finish, because I remember both times that I did it, I was just, but anyway, you know me already for that. I was just crying all the time,
Yeah.
but it's my own style.
Yeah.
How did you manage to finish? How did you feel after such a big effort? And yes, so how did you feel?
Yeah, I as I said just now, it's of course I don't think I cried, but I was emotional. Yeah, I couldn't believe that I actually did it. Yeah,
Yeah.
although when I went into this race, I was in a very good form. I must say, 2013 is my good year. Yeah,
Yeah.
I finished UTMB, I finished Badwater, all in that year. And also Sakura Michi. Yeah,
Wow.
so. So that and Sakura Michi was the first race, big race, that I finished. And from then on I did wet Badwater, and then I did UTMB. Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit more about Badwater? Because I remember you tell me a bit of a story about Badwater. So and how hot it was and how the experience about it.
Uh, yeah, everyone knows that it's a hot race. Yeah. So, and to qualify for this, you have to write essay, you have to answer question, you have to do at least 300 miles race. So this Badwater thing is a long-term project. I have to make sure that I've run at least 100 miles races before. So I started with this Australian race, 240 kilometer in 2010, the coast to Kosciuszko. Yeah, I was plunging into something that I didn't know. As never before have I run so far. From just 100K to suddenly 240 kilometer. And then there was a La Ultra, the high in India. And I did not finish my first 100 miles trail race, which is a UTMB. So I was really looking for races to run so that I can qualify for Badwater. Eventually I finished this race in Italy. Huh? My first 100 miles trail race is a Magredi Mountain Trail. And then I have this La Ultra, I have this Coast to Kosciuszko, and then I qualify,
Wow.
to apply for Badwater. And Badwater itself, because I think I prepared well. The month before going to US, to the Death Valley, I was in China, in Shanghai. So for 3 or 4 weeks, I've been going to sauna, every day, and spend about an hour inside, just to get used to the heat. Yeah,
Wow.
every day. Yeah. So as a kind of a training. Yeah. And
You
sure enough, it's so I did not find. I mean, it was hot during the race, the Badwater. In fact, it was hot when we first, even before the race day, it was like an oven, like 40 degrees something, even not in the racing, not the hottest time. Yeah.
Yes.
So even that, we found it hard to cope. But because I arrived in Las Vegas a few days earlier, so we went around, acclimatizing ourselves. So on race day, I think I was okay, although the temperature got up to 50 something degree. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
But you live I know that at that time you were living in China, but from Malaysia, you used to hot weather. So what is the difference between bad water and what you experienced before in Malaysia?
It's a humidity, right? Because bad water, it's in the desert. It's in Death Valley. It's dry.
Oh,
And so it's just different from the high humidity in a tropical country like Malaysia.
ah,
So it's, in a way, it's getting easy to get used to.
yeah,
But you really need to know how to make use of your support crew to support you with food and drinks and with change of shoes and all that, to be able to do well. And I think I handled that part quite well.
yeah.
Um,
I can even imagine that with your beautiful wife, you were all set on the support side. So I have no doubt about it.
yeah. So it's amazing. Sometimes it's how things like that drive you to
Yeah,
when I say it's a long-term project, because I wanted to do wet water, so I spent 2 or 3 years just trying to run qualifying races.
yeah,
So and going to different countries, yeah, and sometimes I did not finish. I think 2 or 3 hundred miles trail races. So I just kept going back and kept trying. Yeah, and
and
so looking back, it's it must be something just driving me crazy to do all these things.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm amazing that you look like for me it's like if you still have 30, but you never stop and you always keep going and you always keep pushing. So what makes you keep like always keeping pushing and doing all those amazing things?
I'm a curious person by nature. I suppose a lot of people are as well. Um, yeah, it's I have a motto in life that I don't want to live too many regrets, and also I have been curious since a very childhood time. I want to see this thing. I want to go there, to different places. I want to try different thing and see how my body would respond, see how my brain will respond, and just curious about those things. And there's a lot of satisfaction from finding out those the answer. Yeah. Um, I suppose I like sports, not only running. Huh?
Yeah.
So any kind of sports that I get into will will make me very happy. Somehow it's probably the get me the adrenaline, or the yeah these things make me happy.
Because you're also an Ironman you're also an Ironman person. So what kind of sports do you prefer? Do you prefer triathlon or running?
Uh, as I said, I have interest in many sports. Yeah, I play tennis as well. So I play basketball. I was very good in basketball as well. Yeah, so um, some of the things I mean, in our life, we shouldn't be just doing one thing. Yeah. So if I have done 40 years of running, so I should be doing something else. That was in my mind when I was taking up this Ironman or triathlon. Yeah, I'm not so good in swimming. Let's spend some time in
Uh,
swimming, and learn this particular discipline properly. Yeah, I'm not strong in cycling as well, but I think if I spend enough time in that one, I can be reasonably good. Yeah. Maybe it's too late for me to get into triathlon, but I'm happy that I have done 8 Ironman now. Yeah.
wait,
So
one
so
thing that one thing that I'm always impressed with you, Seow Kong, is by your your tremendous humility, because the experience that you have, not just about running, but I just remember in C2C, if I finish C2C, it's on you, because you were in fact coaching me from the start to the end, because your knowledge is massive. And even if you are like, for me, you are literally an icon, but you still are so humble that it's really special to have. And if you have some question, please do, because you have no clue what kind of person you have in front of you. So I encourage you to ask all the questions that you have for Seow Kong, because it's a pleasure to have you in it. So that's have on my second question. What do you find some meaning through running? And if yes, what kind of meaning that you find through running?
My first race, is a cross country race in a small town in Malaysia, and I ran that race barefoot. Yeah, that's how I started my running, and I came in fourth place. The next year, I was a champion for that race. Yeah, still running barefoot. Yeah, so it's, of course, when you become a champion, and then when you see that you are good in something, and then you see that, hey, everybody else is running in shoes and I'm running barefoot and I still can be the champion. It makes you feel good. Yeah. So to a certain extent, running is also something that you can measure. Yeah, your achievement, how fast you can run, how much you have improved, and also how far you can run. Yeah, I think the how far you can run is something that kind of challenges me. How far I can run, how long I can endure, how my body will respond. Yeah, how much hardship I can take. Yeah, with this is the things that you can do it on your own. Yeah, you can see yourself. If you are in a team sport like basketball or tennis and things like that, maybe it's not so obvious. Yeah, because it depends on the opponent. It depends on the other side, the players. Yeah, playing against you. Yeah, how good you are and all that thing. But with running, it's obvious. You are on your own. Yeah, when you do the training, you know how fast, you know how far. Yeah, so and you can work on it. Yeah, on your own. You don't need other people to talk together with you. Not your teammate, for example. Yeah? So I find that, and you have a lot of times that you can do these things on your own, whereas with other team sport, you can't. Yeah, I suppose same can be said for swimming and also cycling, but because running is more accessible, running can take you. You can't swim to the top of the mountain, right? And you can't cycle into the middle of the ocean. But with running, yeah, you can go a lot of places. Yeah.
That, totally agree. And what makes you want to go farther and farther and farther again?
It's if I always believe that if somebody else have done it before, I would like to see whether I can do it or not. If somebody say this is the toughest, this is the longest, this is the highest, then I would have to see, okay, whether I can do the same or not. Yeah, it's just something that challenges me, that I'm curious to find out. Yeah.
And for you, what I totally admire, for one of the things, so many people, because we all know that you have 25 years, but anyway, it's at your age you never stop. So, and I'm always impressed, because for me it's something that I really look up to. So, and how can you manage to never stop and keep going when you see that, like, the other people are just like being on the couch and do nothing? So what is your secret about aging and never stop?
There are always, I don't know why we need to stop, because there's always new challenges. There's always new things to do. Maybe like, how is a progression? In the probably first to 10 to 15 years, I've been just doing the normal city marathons and all that thing. But then at a certain stage, when I have done the top so-called 8 of the top 10 marathon at a time, then I look to adventure marathons like Everest marathons, Great Wall Marathon. They are all 42 kilometer, And then when I did the Comrades, then that's a long race, very iconic race, famous race, historical race, with long history. So then the distance, after you have done 80 something kilometer, then you think that you can do 100. So there was always, then after you have done all this ultra running and all that thing, then you think that maybe I should be doing something else like swimming, triathlon, and all that thing. Maybe open water swimming, maybe long distance cycling like Audax, or 1,500 kilometer, that kind of cycling, not necessarily the speed, but just the distance, itself is enough to challenge you. I think as I age, certainly I can't be as fast as my younger days, but I certainly can still go far. I think my endurance base has helped me a lot to take on those challenges. Sometimes, in a lot of, like, for example, cycling, a lot of the young cyclists, they can go very fast, but a lot of them can drop out too, because they don't have the endurance to last the whole distance. And for a triathlon, for example, I'm not fast, but I don't actually have enough training for both. I don't have the enough technique as well, for both swimming and cycling, but somehow my endurance base is enough, to help me to finish the race.
And tell us a little bit more about Endurance Nature. You are director of the race director about Endurance Nature. So where that come from, and what is this all journey all about?
I was working in China, Shanghai, until 2014. And I happened to finish my contract. And there are two things that motivated me to come back to Malaysia after 21 years in China. The first thing is, of course, to come back to Malaysia to organize races. I was very passionate about ultra running. And at the time, I've done most of the races as well. Remember 2013, I've done a lot of big races. So I was thinking of, like, maybe my life shouldn't be just about working. I should be doing something else with my passion. I would like to come back. It's not good enough to be just running myself. I want to organize races for other people to run, to see whether I can be good or not, in organizing races. My goal is to organize and establish races that are internationally recognized. That people, when they talk about my races, they are looking up to these races. They like to do these races. Maybe like UTMB or Badwater and those kind of races. Of course, it's not easy for Malaysian racers to be of that international standard, because of our environment being a tropical country. Sometimes we don't have that advantage.
But can I mention something that
Sure.
on my own experience? I did also race in Europe and internationally, but I and it's not because I'm biased. I truly mean it. Your running standard is really, really, really high, and I think because of the standard that you put in the running community, you are kind of a leader, not kind. You are a leader in the race organization that some other people can come, and we could have see it in C2C. How many people from overseas who come to join your race because you are offering not just the standard, but the way of believing in our runner there that you cannot find in any race that I myself experience. So it's why I think you are you are on your way to have it. And I'm so sad that COVID, because one thing that I miss around the all COVID is going in Malaysia to run your race. And I was still like hoping to that the border can open, that I can put 1 or 2 races before I'm going to either US or Africa. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I will do all my best to, not all my best, I will come back. It's not even a question. And I need to read a comment that someone just post. It's a Grace Lim. So thank you, Grace, for your question. As a runner, totally agree that no stop, regardless of age. And the question, she had a few questions, so I will ask all the question in one go, Seow Kong, and hopefully you will remember all them all. Okay. So how long did you train prior to the race? How is your training schedule, for example, for a 100K? Did you include strength training in your routine? How did you train during the pandemic? Thank you, Grace, for the question. So I let the master answering all those wonderful questions.
For most of the time that I was doing the ultra running, I was living in Shanghai. So Shanghai, as some of you may know, is just flat. There's no trail. Yeah. So I just have to run on the road all the time. Yeah. And because there's no hill, so I have to simulate in the gym. Yeah. Either on the treadmill, or we have this the platform, the gym platform where I can just go jumping up and down, and all the stepping machine and all that thing. So a lot of my training are not so specific, in terms of terrain for trail races. I have to get it from the trail actual races, by running enough actual races. I always maintain like close around 100, maybe 80 or 90 kilometer of weekly mileage, consistently. So that mileage itself is enough to run your 100K. And especially I put in some speed work during the weekday, and long run during the weekend. And as long as you have weekend long run, meaning like 30K, then to finish 100K is not an issue. It's not an issue. And because I do races quite regularly, as these days, a lot of people do a lot of races anyway. So getting ready for a race to finish them is normally not a problem. Now, if you want to perform well, you want to run a particularly good race, then you really have to train specifically and more intensively, maybe have a certain program and things like that. But I'm never really that kind of person. I can remember training particularly hard for backwater, putting in extra long mileage, under the sun, doing trial runs of 80 or 90 kilometer, that kind of rally, um, going to the sauna, to get used to the heat and all that. But other than that, I think it's important to have a mix of enough mileage, enough mileage consistently, long runs, back-to-back long runs, during the weekend, and also some speed work during the weekdays. I think that should be enough to finish most of the races, if not all. Yeah.
And two other questions that I think Grace was asking, that your strength training, you answer it because you do like other sports, but do you do some kind of gym
Yeah.
work?
Yeah.
You do it?
Yeah. I have a home gym in Shanghai. My basement is the whole is like it's like a club. Uh, it's like a gymnasium. Yeah. So with I think 12 pieces of equipment, all the different kind of equipment. So I did a lot of those strengthening work. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a place that I love to spend my time in. Yeah. When I was in Shanghai. Yeah. Where I can watch TV, I can listen to music when I do the workout and all that thing. It's all very comfortable. Yeah. So in fact, a lot of my training is done there, besides on the road. Yeah.
Wow. And now the question that Grace asked, and I was about to asking you, like in myself, the pandemic really hurt me badly. I find it really difficult to find motivation and to put the same amount of running that I was putting in, like kind of the normal way. So how did you cope? Because you don't looks like stopping. So for me, you kind of the same way as before. So how was it for you?
You mean how to get motivated?
Yeah, during the pandemic, because for me during the
Ah,
pandemic, I during COVID it was not good for me. So I asking, how did you cope with the COVID during the training? Because in Malaysia, I remember in start of the COVID, you were inside,
yeah,
you couldn't even go and train outside as we could in Singapore.
yes. Now I think I am coping okay. I've been coping okay. When we started the lockdown in March last year, I just came back from the long run, in Taiwan. Yeah, run
Yes,
around
it's good.
Taiwan. So that was in February last year. So when the lockdown happened in March, I was in no hurry to get very fit. I have no other races, so I need a break. I need some rest. so so that's what I did. I just have a stepping machine, a portable stepping machine that I can just exercise on in front of the TV, and watching my favorite documentary, which on the universe, or the earth or whatever, or history or blues or jazz, that kind of things. For 2 months, then in May we were able to run outside. Yeah, last year. So I started with a 5K run, in 15 minutes. I think I was jogging, and 5K took me 15 minutes. I was very slow. Um, but every day, I think about 10 or 15 days later, I was able to do under 25 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
Already. Yeah. Slowly that. So for most of last year, I was running just 40 or 50 kilometer per week. So very short. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's enough exercise because since I don't have any races anyway. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
then and then I have my focus in writing my book. So that's easy.
so tell us a bit more about your book and the crazy project that you will be running, hopefully, when COVID will stop, who is the Peninsula Tour,
Uh,
which is 2,000 kilometers in 1 month. Just
yeah.
thinking about that blow my mind, because that's equivalent of, I think, 80K a day. Is it what it is? And you will break
Uh,
a world record about that. So this is massive. So tell us more about those two challenges.
uh, well, okay. Talk about the bigger. Well, I don't know which one is bigger. One is running around Peninsular Malaysia has always been the dream of many people, I'm sure, for many runners. Somehow, we just don't find the time um, away from the work, from the family, to do this kind of things. Yeah? Somebody need to take the lead. I've been thinking about it for many years since we finished the coast to coast and also the Trans Peninsula to see, if nobody else is going to do it, I'm going to do it alone. Huh? But when we started to talk about it, we found that there are people who share similar passion and interest as well in doing it. Yeah, they are just waiting for these things to be organized by somebody to take the lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a few of us got together. We put in the route, and then so that's how we got started. The challenge is big. Yeah. Now when I've been training for this for the last few months, waiting for this to happen. Yeah. I would say it's not exactly 80 kilometer.
So
It's
how many? I'm
72
interested.
kilometer, I think, on average. Yeah.
But
But that is I have never done it before like that. Even the Taiwan, I think we were talking about 60 something kilometer per day on average for 16 days. Yeah? So this one will be 72 kilometer on average for 31 days. Yeah. So how we are going to do it,
yeah,
we don't
that was my
exactly we don't
question.
exactly know. We can only prepare the best we can. Yeah. The best we can is meaning like, spending a lot of time on our feet, doing a lot of walk. I think my preparation is more time, spending longer time on my feet, doing a lot of less intensity so that I can recover every day to do the walk. Yeah. For example, every day at least 3 hours. Yeah. I need to be on my feet moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe towards in the last 1 or 2 months, I probably need to increase it to like 4 hours, like certain period, every day, 4 hours, on the feet.
But can
Because
I
you cannot do a one long run every day because you don't have enough time to recover the next day to continue the training. So that's, yeah,
ask you a question, Seow
yeah,
Kong?
yeah,
How do you what is your like training exactly? Because what I have in mind for myself for Africa, what I'm doing is in fact a 4 kilometer run, 1 kilometer walk. And why I'm doing that, it's because anyway, long story short, I have a sponsorship, a help with Tim Noakes Foundation,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Tim Noakes tell me to do that because what he said, you need to train your body as you will be running at the end of Cape Town. So it's
yeah,
why I'm doing that, and so it's how I'm training. And the second thing that he told me is you don't want to train too much because you will be tired when you start. So is it
yeah,
something that you are concerned about? Because when you start this kind of run, in fact, you get fit of doing it. And I remember you and you told me that in the start of C2C. So is it
yeah.
something that you have in mind?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's why I'm doing a lot of run, walk, run, walk. I'm not concerned about these things go onto the Strava. Your your pace doesn't look really that good, that fast. But I'm
Yes.
not really concerned about that.
It's,
Yeah. So I need to do some intense one every now and then, every like twice a week. But all the other times, I'm just walking, running, walking, jogging, and all that thing. Um, as long as I keep moving, because I know that's how it is going to be like,
yeah.
on the actual run. Yeah, there will be a lot of every day you need to recover for the
Yeah.
next day. Yeah, so
And
you cannot. Sorry.
how long you think it will take you by day of
Well,
running?
we let's say if you allow a pace of six kilometer an hour, so every day we need to spend 12 hours on the road. So if you start, it's like from morning to the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Yeah, and then you get to rest. Yeah, so that is a long time. So if I go a bit faster, maybe let's say I can do in 10 hours. 10 hours is still a long hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
so So that's, I think the idea is to complete this every day with the minimum kind of effort and impact to the body, impact to the muscle and the joints, yeah, so that you are well enough to carry on the next day, yeah. So have to be more efficient, effortless, which is not easy to do. So have to simulate that in our training as well, yeah, because in the actual run there will be a lot of walking and running and walking and running, just to change the muscles that you use. So in the training you should do the same as well.
And when you think it will happen, because of
December.
COVID, all the
December. We have postponed it from August to December. Hopefully, hopefully Malaysia is not looking too good with the number of cases going up like crazy. But I think by December we should be able to cross the states. We should be allowed to travel interstate, and if that is allowed, then we can do the race because there's only 10 of us. Yeah, it's not like organizing an event.
Yeah, but it's still 10 crazy people who decide to join you. And you know how a bit sad, not a bit, that I'm really sad to do not join you on that one, because it would have been something that I really, really wish to do. But on my side, when you will be running the peninsula, I will be somewhere finishing my run in US, because also on my side, I was supposed to be in Africa, but everything had been postponed. So probably I will be with you in my mind, but running somewhere else.
We wish each other in spirit,
Yes,
that you will
exactly.
do well in your race as well.
Yeah.
So coming back to this book thing,
Yes.
I like to do writing as well. I like to write. Yeah, I write my race reports after each of my races, and I enjoy writing, and I think some people like to read my race report too. Yeah, and I find that it when I say I enjoy writing it's I'm a person who don't want to be good in only one thing. Um, I want to be good in non-sporting things as well. Yeah, things like reading, writing, listening to music, appreciating music, playing guitar, and all that thing. Yeah, that part of it I'm also very passionate about. Yeah, so writing my book is a long-term thing. You see, since I finished the North Pole and Antarctica and the Amazon jungle, a lot of my followers, have been asking me to publish a book. Yeah, imagine that was like 2009. So it's more like 15 years already
Wow.
since the first person who suggests that I should write a book. So 15 years later, I'm still working on it. I think how to tell the story is a challenge. How to tell it interestingly enough is a greater challenge. That although you have an interesting story, but how do you make people want to find to read your book, and find it still very good reading, very inspiring, somehow it's worth reading it. So that's the difficult part. Yeah, that's the art that I'm trying to master. And I'm sure by spending enough time in there, thinking about how, maybe half a day is spent only on how I should write this half a page beautifully, interestingly, enough information to keep people wanting to flip to the next page. Yeah.
But once again, Seow Kong, I think you stress too much, because your story by itself, it's so inspiring that you just have to be yourself and tell your story, that everyone will go and buy your book. And I will be the first one to want to read your entire story, because you're really inspiring, and what you did, it's really out of this world. So, and when we can expect to read this book?
I hope to coincide it with my first event next year, the event
Wow.
that we organize.
Yes.
If we can organize TT in at the end of March, then I hope to get the book published by then. So that I can launch it, at my first event.
Yes.
So that we're looking about March or April next year.
Wow. Yeah. I can't wait to read this book. It's
Yeah, I
fantastic.
have because I'm working not only on the English edition but also the Chinese as well. So that's why it's taking longer.
Yeah.
And I like to write in both languages. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. And if you have some recommendation for people who listen to us right now, with all your experience, what would be your recommendation for us all?
Um, Whatever it is, whether it is running or something else, yeah. Because I can be doing some other sports too besides running. Um, I think the the passion for certain thing, yeah, a curiosity for certain thing, wanting to achieve something in life, or maybe not only one thing but several things, and that's what I've been trying to do in all my life. I think that gave me a joy in my life, and that's how I find my life is worth living. Um, that I'm not stopping. I suppose that applies to everyone. Um, if you are finding yourself not motivated, depressed, and don't have a goal for your life and things like that from day to day, um, I think if you can find a certain interest in certain passion, you'll find that you can have a focus, for your life. You get a circle of friends, and a certain thing that you always follow, then you'll find that you have your life have a purpose. And
What I think you missed about yourself, Seow Kong, is you didn't just reach a passion, but you give it to others that others can achieve their best self. Because it's something that that you teach me and that you even give me right now. Because you believe in every runners that you have into your race, and the fact that we know that, like, when we run, we feel it. So when we feel that, in fact, you, the race organizer, believe in every one of us, that give us the motivation, the extra boost to give the full ourselves, that I never find this feeling in any other race. So you had like the perfect match of finding your own passion and give back to others, which it's really special in your case. So come.
oh, yeah, I mean, I didn't occur to me that I did that to people. I just thought, that's how what have I experienced myself, how I grew up as a runner, as a person, and I share what I know. And I'm actually quite inspired by everyone who sign up for my races, who do something, actively, passionately, So what I thought I was doing is just like sharing what I already know, which I think will be helpful to these people. And I believe, and I have seen, those improvement in people. That they become stronger, that they believe in themselves, and yeah, and they become a different person. Well, I didn't realize that was I did that consciously or not. I just did it. Yeah.
It's what is beautiful in your with you, So Kong, because being you and being totally you inspire people. And what you just mentioned right now, when you said that you transform yourself, and like in my case, as I always say about C2C, it's by far my best race that I ever done. And for all the reason, but one reason that you just said is when I start C2C, I was totally a different person than the one that I finished. And you have this ability to get that on people, that it's really, really rare. So for the people who never been in Malaysia and run the race of Seow Kong Endurance Network, go, because it's not only the race, it's an experience. It's a human experience by itself. So thank you for having putting this organization of race out there, because I think we all need that to become better runner and better human, as simply as that.
Yeah, that's the purpose of setting up endurance nature as well. Yeah, that's why we do races that nobody has done before, coast to
Yeah.
coast, transpeninsula, and all that thing. Yeah, although it's not for the purpose of making money. Yeah, it's just for people to come and run, enjoy themselves. Yeah, fulfill their dreams.
Yeah, you're so inspiring, and just to have you here. But the time is just flying so fast. Do you have
Yeah.
some last words of wisdom before we move on?
Haven't I said that already?
Yes.
If I may go back to, I know that it's difficult, but one of the things about my book here is it's something to do with this war. Yeah, I believe there's a war within every one of us. Yeah, we can call it a barrier or the obstacles, something inside, mental barrier. Yeah, that you need to overcome. Yeah, that you sometimes make you to have doubts, to hesitate. You know, whether to do this or not to do. Yeah, I encourage everyone to break through that. Yeah, barrier. Yeah, this can be the family. Yeah, can be the work. Yeah, can be your financial. Can you, yeah, everything. Yeah. Try to think of your whole life. Yeah, until your last day. Yeah, what kind of person, what kind of life you want to have led. Yeah, want to have lived. Yeah, and somehow you want to achieve those things before you pass. Yeah, before your last day. Yeah,
Yeah.
and do it. Try to break through this barrier. Yeah, a lot of times it's easier than you think, easier than you imagine. You just have to take the first step. Yeah, and I have done. Yeah, I've never imagined that I can go to North Pole, Antarctica, and all those, doing all those races in crazy places in the desert and all Amazon jungle and all that thing here. But as you once you have taken that first step, yeah, the following steps will be easier. Yeah, and it becomes easier and easier. Yeah, and it becomes more natural. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that would be what I would like to share with everyone.
Yeah. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Seow Kong, to have been there. And to be quite honest, it's a gift to myself that I give to myself to have you live. And I hope we will be able to have some more live together, even if you are in the Turok Peninsula, or I will be in Africa, because it's just so special to connect with you every time I have
Yeah.
the opportunity. So
Okay.
thanks from the bottom of my heart, Seow Kong, to have been there. And thank you everyone for your comment, for your encouragement. It's really special. And the last thing that I want to add is next week, I'm super happy because the crowdfunding page will be finally online. And now we will create a private group of the people who want to join this this project, who is to give water to everyone and to run this African continent. And we start by US because of the situation right now. So next week, the crowdfunding page will be live, and we will also open a private group where we can discuss, answer questions, discuss of the preparation of the run and such amazing thing. So I love you all. Thanks again, Seow Kong, and see you soon. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Vero. Have a nice evening, and thank you for the invitation.
Pleasure, Seow Kong.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye, everyone.